It's weird because, as I said, like I was absolutely tired of the film, like when I sent it to the sound team, and when they came back to me with a very solid version, like I was holy shit! Like the first version was almost like what we have on YouTube. Like it was like perfect, you know. The first film we had like much more like change, a lot of change because we had to find like how is it to be in such a world. But this one it was perfect, you know. Um, so when I got that, I realized okay, I'm pretty close to have the film done because I was expecting much more like edit and so I don't know like when my friend Antoine told me like maybe at the end of this week we should have the last update. And I was okay. I will finish the film this week and Monday I will release it. And so I think it was like in a 3 or 4 days I just decided to finish it and just to drop it. Like I think like the day I've released it, like 2 weeks ago, I was still rendering some shots. You know? Yeah, because I just wanted to just like turn the page, like done. Let's do something else. So it was let's go.
The great Paul CHADEISSON returns to the Learn Squared podcast, and our multi-talented guest and Learn Squared instructor is fresh off the release of his latest short film, Solstice 5, Forgotten Archives. Paul is best known for his stunning mastery of scale and sense of design, and has contributed to some of the industry's biggest projects. Paul has also developed his own game in the shape of Strike Vector, and more recently has brought all of these skills to the craft of filmmaking. When Paul first joined us on the podcast, it was after the release of his first installment of the Solstice series, and at the time of recording, the series sits on 6 million views and counting. So buckle up and get ready to hear all about the beautifully organic way Paul's projects come to life, and hear firsthand what it takes to bring a CGI short film to life, and much more. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Very, very special guest on today, Learn Squared legend, creative legend, and one of my favorite artists of all time, Paul CHADEISSON. Welcome, Paul.
Hello, guys, and hello, Aaron.
Hello. So it's been like we said before, it's been like almost 2 years since you were last on, and also since we last spoke as well. And I believe, well, you've done a lot of cool things since then. I know you're the first part of Solstice was just come out, I think, later after that episode. And as you mentioned, you've been, which I'm sure you can reveal, or maybe not, some awesome projects as well. But yeah, give us a quick recap of like all the things you've been doing since we last spoke.
Well, it's funny because when we last spoke, I think I was just talking briefly about the Solstice project.
Yeah.
But it was like, I'm not even sure if I was aware it was becoming really something. It was more like having a lot of fun, like I would play with a video game, but this time I was just doing my personal stuff. And it was like, I don't really know what I should expect from this experience. And yeah, since I released it and there were like a really cool recept online. I wasn't expecting that much attention, so it was very intimidating, but at the same time very motivating because I was doing this project like really. I wanted to be the most honest with myself. This was the goal. I really wanted to just like without any control, like just what I would do, like without any constraint or any particular feeling, just okay, what do I want to do now? And okay, I want to do some sculpting. Let's do some sculpting, and maybe later, it will just join the project, but it wasn't the plan. Like those organic like landscape, it was just okay. Let's learn ZBrush, and later maybe I could bring some organic landscape. So it was just about like trying stuff, and it happened to be a movie in the end.
Wow.
But the more I was evolving and starting to like having a script, it was becoming much more real. At some point, you can see like the shape of something, and it becomes like almost alive. Then you have to finish it. But I think when we were talking, I'm not sure. I think it was still like probably something, but it was not. I couldn't see like the whole picture of it yet, I guess. And the fun part is when I released it, I saw like all the like attention to it, and it really like motivated me a lot. Everybody was asking me like, how much did you work on it? I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell like how much time it took me, and I was okay. How much time would it take me? Like I wasn't aware of it myself, so I wanted to see. Okay, let's see like how much time it would take me to just do another one. So it was funny because I had my own rhythm. So I took like I think I started like at the end of February, so early March, and I took like 3 months off to just do okay. Let's see what I can do in 3 months. So I think I've done like maybe 70% of the shot, like in 3 months, like a huge part of the shot, maybe I think. But the script was going at a very slow rhythm compared to the image. So I was like creating like a whole library of image and what I wanted to see in this film, but without any script. Because I don't have any budget at the time, so it was and the writer from the first episode, Solstice episode, because what we do usually we have a call and we discuss, and he will write like as we speak, and then he read it to me again, and then we adjust real time, you know. But he had like very few time available. So I was having like 70% of the image done, but like nothing to no writing, you know. So I took like a second writer to just here we had like a lot of work like written, but no script at all. It was just about like possible ideas. So I took like a screenwriter, and it was okay. If you can do a script based on that, you know, like documentary style and all like all the idea we really love, you know. So he made it like in maybe like 6 weeks, something like that. So we had like a very solid like things to bounce, you know. So it wasn't exactly what we wanted, but like half of the script was quite so some of the idea was quite right. And the other part had to need some adjustment, so I made some adjustment with the other writer. So it was it was much more complicated to write this new one compared to the first one, because I had my own rhythm, but it wasn't the same rhythm as everybody. So I had to wait a lot, and I had to learn that. So next time I will be really careful about starting to work once I have a script, because I was feeling like it was such a waste of image, you know. I had like 15 minutes of film, but like nothing to base from. I was maybe I've totally lost my time, you know. It was a bit weird. Like once you can't see like the film and you don't see like the potential of it, it's not working. It just feels like a waste of time.
Wow.
So yeah, so I had to. I think I got like a script, maybe like something that was quite working, maybe like in August, something like that. And I took like a editing artist, because the film was supposed to be much longer. It was like 18 minutes, something like that. But the first movie was very slow. Like each shot were like 10 to like sometimes 20 seconds. But in this one, I don't know why it wasn't working. It was becoming boring like very quickly. I was, oh my God, it's not working at all. Shit. Yeah. So I took an editing artist, and he just made it work like in like 3 weeks. It was okay. I have a film. But like he just cut like okay, let's keep like 3-4 seconds per shot. It's so it was like most of I've made some 20-second rendering for almost each shot, and he just kept like 3 or 4 seconds. But it was okay. If it's working, I'm totally fine with that. At some point, you just want like something to emerge, to work. So yeah, it was basically, I was more learning to work with like people, compared to the first one, it was just me doing most of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working with some VFX artists as well. So it was an experience as well. I don't know how it really started because I was watching some video of the nuke underwater, like a real footage, and I was, oh my god, this is absolutely crazy to have made those tests, I don't know if you saw those reference, but there is some archive footage of some ship, like a carrier or destroyer or cruiser. I don't know. There is an entire fleet, and they just make an explosion, like a nuclear explosion, just to see how it looked like, with an entire fleet. Maybe it was obsolete, of course, but it's still like a huge. It's an entire fleet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was really fascinated by that and scared at the same time. It's a pure example of the genius of humanity, and at the same time the tragic aspect to it, And I don't know. I just wanted to see how I would love to have that in this Solstice 5 planet, but 100 times crazier and fascinating, So I saw Emmanuel Neri. He was, I don't know how, I think it was on LinkedIn. I saw maybe somebody share his work, and I saw he's done some really amazing simulation with Ambergen of a nuclear blast, shockwave, smashing some building. I want that too. So I was writing to him, can you do that for my film? And he was okay. But we started with this nuclear simulation. And after a couple of weeks, it wasn't working at all. So he told me there is a guy, a young guy. His name is Vasco Azinero. He's a super talented person with Ambergen. He got a very small graphic card, but he do a miracle with that,
Right.
It's the small genius, nobody is aware of, but he told me maybe he can do something for you. So I've contacted him. He was super excited, and after maybe 2 or 3 days, I had the simulation. Because
really?
It's done. Shit. So we started to make some tests because he had a very a small graphic card. I had the monster with the 3 GPU, the 4090,
Mm-hmm.
So we were launching Ambergen because the Ambergen file are very, very small file. It's
Okay.
you can just drag and drop. It's nothing, So you just drag and drop the simulation. Then I was opening it in Ambergen, the real-time simulation software, and sharing screen, and then he was telling me, no, this button, yes, no. I was like a puppet, and I was just clicking. I don't know if you saw Surgeon Simulator, the game. It was basically that for him, you have to play with my hand, So we made this simulation with the most detail as we could. So we had to crop at some point the simulation to get more resolution. Cool. And then I could populate my scene and try to render it, but it was tough to render. It was 45 minutes per frame, Wow. With my big computer, I was afraid my computer to melt, I didn't know if it could handle such a long. I think my GPU are quite destroyed now.
Right.
So I always felt maybe it's the last simulation I can launch,
Yeah.
But it worked, and the computer is still there, fine. So, okay.
For those that have just tuned in and not familiar, could you explain what the Solstice are? Because are the two was one a sequel to the other one, or are they kind of their own individual thing?
The second one happened before. It was because the first movie is about how can automation if we lose control to automation, what could happen. It was about that. So we can't stop it, and it just execute the same task over and over. It's not it's not evil Terminator. It's not a dangerous AI, with we want to destroy humanity. No, it's just doing a task you could can, ask when you just a simple thing.
Cool.
But with the wrong, if we lose control of it, it can become a nightmare anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be as powerful if we just use it properly. It's like the tool we use today. If it can be very powerful. And the second one, the new film I just released happened before. It's more like how do you end to such a situation. It's more about that. And basically.
Cool. No, we'll get to this later on, but I love the themes and that particular thing, and the way you just described it as well. I think that's a very genius way to, and also like a cool avenue to get creative with. Because like you said, usually when it's like machines, AI, something destructive, it's normally menacing. Normally like, its intention is to murder and kill. But this is just like a process that is continuing, that's super efficient, too efficient for humanity. But it's just doing its job. I guess you could say like mimicking like real world stuff, like I guess what plastic's done to the world. Like when it was first invented, it was like, wow, this is amazing. We don't need to worry about things melting and breaking falling apart. But then it's carried on, and now it's almost everywhere. Where did that kind of like, because obviously you mentioned like you just started the project and it just kind of grew to what it was, which I think is also very poetic considering the themes in both films as well. When did that kind of like idea crop into your head about this repeating process?
Maybe it's a combination of many things. I've played a video game called Factorio, and there were some very weird situations, like when you just because it's like a factory simulation.
Yeah.
Like you just start to take some resources like metal or whatever, oil, and then you can do like some I don't know how we'd say, like track, so you put like it's just basically like a factory simulation,
right?
And at some point you end to do like some very complex stuff, like tanks, or a plane, I don't know, but if you do one, you will get like 10,000 of it, so it's becoming ridiculous. You just need one, but just coming nonstop, And I don't know if it's coming from this thing or playing other video game or just observing like the evolution of AI, because everybody say it's quite dumb for the moment. If you ask like in Midjourney, you ask an image, you get like 10 or 20 in a couple of minutes. It's just doing its task perfectly, quickly. It's very efficient. I don't know. Maybe it was also like a therapy of, dealing myself as an artist to automation or artificial intelligence. I think it was a way for me to digest all of it, and because it was tough to, when you see like what you do is so easy to be done without any thinking behind. It's quite disturbing. You realize maybe I think too much before doing an image, because you ask something to like Midjourney or any generative stuff, it just do it like without any thinking. So there is maybe some good thing as an inspiration. There is some bad thing as well, but it just gave a slap to every artist on earth. All of this,
Yeah.
So I guess it was a bit of how to digest all of this, I guess, because I wasn't really planning what I wanted to tell. It was more like what speak to me when I see like some aircraft carrier launching. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. When I was doing this scene, for example, of some ship taking off, I wasn't expecting it to be like 1,000 behind. But as I spoke with my writer, that the first idea that came to me like instantly, like automation. So there is always this aspect of something a bit ridiculous or nonsense a bit. I just keep coming to nonsense all the time, some absurd situation. You take something which is working absolutely perfectly well, but you put it in a different context.
Yeah,
it just become like the extreme opposite. Yeah. So yeah, just like put something in a different point of view, like or a different context, and if this go wrong, what happened? If you give like automation, like a nuclear weapon, like if it's working perfectly well, fine. But if just like this little silly scenario happen, could go like completely wrong.
Yes.
So yeah. So it's a good way to combine like creating art, which I still love to do every day, but also like trying to bring a message, So it's not just a cool showreel,
Yeah.
a good showcase of my
certainly.
work. It's just trying to tell something that's more interesting, I guess.
One of the cool things as well, like it's just obviously going away from like say the theory side of things and the messaging. It's still a spectacle, which is obviously what everyone enjoys your work for, especially myself. Like when I see your work, it's always like a spectacle. It's always amazing. And then it's always like a sense of wonder. Like obviously, I call you the master of scale for obvious reasons. And most of your pieces always almost show like a snapshot of that scale. It's like just a hint of something that's bigger. And for the first time in these films, we actually get, and even it's still the same kind of thing, but you still see more. You get to see more of like the scale that you can handle. And it just seems to show that no matter how far you push it, you can always manage to find scale as well. I know stuff you mentioned before, like not only on the podcast before, but on other talks that I've attended that you've said is like it's just something that you enjoy doing, something that you enjoy exploring. Was that the same with the film as well? Like was it a case of deliberately trying to see how far the scale of this thing could be? Or was it just more, let's just push it, and let's just see how far we can go?
Yeah, it wasn't like totally, I'm not really looking for scale when I do those stuff. Okay. It's more like, some elements became more like a joke, but when I started to just do it for fun, it was becoming, that's so great. Because I had those aircraft carrier carrying some ship. I wanted to do, I have this idea, because I guess when you release a film or a project, it became like a kind of a stairs, when you can see beyond, but until until it's finished and people say what they think about, and from there you can kind of breathe, and see like really beyond. And after the first Solstice film, this is the first idea that came to my mind is, hey, there could be like some massive like mothership who could carry like those aircraft carrier, and at the end of maybe at the middle of the project, I was showing this to my friend, and they were, you can always make it bigger, like a joke. And I was, I should do like a carrier of this craft carrier scare, And in my mind, it was, ping, fuck, I have to do it now. Once it become ridiculous, But I was thinking like at this stage, it will become really ridiculous, But I've tried it and I was, fuck. I don't feel it ridiculous when I see it. Maybe it's working. But I felt like at some point it was just became like nonsense. Like, I had the feeling like, okay, let's push the joke like more. And I was, no, it's nonsensical after. But I don't know what was the question, but What was
the answer is just more like was the attention of scale deliberate, but as you mentioned, it was more a case of just like a mixture of pushing the joke a little bit and then clearly a good design, because if it started off as a joke but it still made sense, that shows your skills as a designer, right?
But I realized those just like 3 or 4 days ago, I realized that the actual scale of one of the ship, like if you've seen like the flying oil tanker, I didn't realize myself how big it was,
right?
Because I've put like the nuclear explosion close to our rig, and like it's pretty big. But I was thinking, oh shit! Like if a nuclear explosion would explode in one of these tankers, it would be like a small explosion,
Yeah.
I was shit. Like I haven't realized. I was thinking maybe it's too big. This one is maybe too big, or maybe I should do like bigger explosion. But it's always like, okay, let's do it bigger. But it's not like a research of scale. I think it's more like finding like the appropriate. I'm mostly like when I do like the 3D stuff, it's just like trying to find the appropriate scale for what I do. It's more about feeling, it's not about let's make it big or small, It's more this detail look better like with this size, all the little details, the crane, like putting other spaceship after close to a design, just find the thing that seems appropriate,
And would you say that energy or that approach of like just going with what you feel and the feeling of it, is that throughout all films, or did it change on Solstice 5?
Not really. I think I was more comfortable in the second one to just come and bring with ideas and quickly, because before, I think it took some time for the first film to, even before like talking with the first screenwriter, took me some time to like when you do like a drawing or a scene and then finding like what could it be like as a story, it was taking some time. But for this new film, like I was just sketching like what could be crazy to see on this planet, and I was just trying idea like, okay, maybe like the landscape could be carved like in specific way, with very angular shape. And I was thinking, what could it be? Ding! Well, it could be that, all that. For example, the nuclear fracking, it was like multiple ideas at the same time, but I wasn't sure like what could be the best. So we had to rewrite multiple times and then like place it at the good moment in the film. But sometimes there were like multiple ideas, options for an idea. And sometimes I was absolutely sure what it could be. But I was faster at just doing a sketch and it could be that, or we could show it like that way, But it's great because it instead of writing and then trying to apply the art based on the script, it's more like let's do like a sketch and then like get some idea based on that, And then when you do the 3D, like it's becoming more and more alive. You start to get more idea, like it's becoming like a basic stuff, and you can just dream even more based on this, So it's interesting process, which is fun because I want to do the opposite for my new project, but maybe I will not be able to do that.
Wow.
Let's see.
Why do you want to change it? Is it more just to see what it's like, or do you feel
it's more like being more efficient? Because I think this film could have been made like in 5 or 6 months if the script would have come at this. I mean, would have moved on as fast as how I produce the image, the video. So I want to see now. Okay, how much time would it actually take if I from the moment I have a script, I just have to just execute, because when I've done my video game like Strive Vector, we made like this game design document, which is the equivalent of script. And once we had that, we could just like execute like non-stop every task we have to do. And maybe that's a better way to do it. Because, when you wait, you start to think about many things, or, do some compromise, or just, have some bad feeling, but maybe maybe it's not working. Maybe the idea is not working, because you're still in it, you're waiting, for the work of other people, but you're still, it's still in your head. So I want to see like, okay, let's do it. Now I want to have multiple scripts, if possible. And from there I can just choose, okay, I will do this one. And the other one we'll just wait, or I could refine it. But yeah, I want just to be able to produce more efficiently, faster, better.
So how long did each Solstice film take?
I see. It depends. Like to write it took like if we like combine all the time together, I guess it would be like 2 months maybe.
Okay. Wow.
It took like 6 months because I didn't have like a proper writer with me non-stop, So I will try this time for the new one just to, okay, let's take the time, the money, but the time to develop it properly and to see like how fast it is to develop a story like that. And from there, I think maybe because I took 3 months off to do like maybe 70% of the shot, but some I wasn't aware. Like some idea came after, or just like 2 months before releasing the film. Like you have an idea, like fuck, I need to try it. I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 months. Maybe it would take if it was more optimized, maybe.
And sorry, yeah, and I'd love to talk about like just the script process, because it's interesting what you mentioned before. And naively, just thinking like with scripts, and especially like when you working with clients and stuff, usually the script, like you said, comes first. You're given a script, and then you got to extract the information and create images that way. But like you mentioned, that you had a lot of images or imagery created, and then the scriptwriter came in. What prompted you to bring someone in for a script? Was it more to save you time, or did like when did you realize that this was going to become a story? Because like you said, it started off organically, right? Did it happen very early, or was it something later on?
It was some, it's weird because I have some stuff I have to do in my life. It can just go like to just call a doctor, or some very basic stuff like getting a screenwriter or just get some actor. But when it's something you haven't done, before, it can take some time before really acting. Like doing it.
Got it.
I don't assumption. Is it that in English? But it's just because you haven't done it, just like before learning a new software, it took me like 10 years to learn ZBrush.
Yeah.
It's just like mental barrier,
right?
Like just stuck you in time, freeze you in time, and prevent you from acting, doing something. So I think I stay because I've made for the first Solstice film, maybe I've done like 3 or 4 minutes of film. So it took me a couple of months, and I've called like a screenwriter, and I didn't got reply. Funny is I've wrote to his previous email. He wasn't aware of this one anymore, but I didn't know that. So I've been waiting for a couple of weeks, no news. So then I've wrote to a different writer, and no news at all. I was, oh shit. So like 2 or 3 months maybe happened. And then I've kind of started to learn something else, and it's just quite, stop, the project. And then my friend came in my home, and I've shown like all the stuff, and I was, maybe I should like find a writer again. And he was, I do writing, I can write it for you. So I was, okay, let's do it. But I was kind of stuck. I think I would have done it maybe, would have wake up at some point, like shit, I've got like those minutes, done. Like I will not put this in the trash, so I will call someone anyway. But it's just like act, so it was a bit of time. But today, for example, it's kind of easier for me to just call a writer or call an actor. Just do the thing, that will unlock the door for you. So now I just I will have a call with a writer early next week to just speak about a new project, But yeah, it's I guess when you have a feeling, just don't wait 6 months. It can just take like a couple of hours to unlock the door, because you just waste so much time and energy until because if you don't do it, it will still stuck in your head anyway. But for a long period of time, which is not really healthy after a couple of months or a year, become a frustration, and humans have problem to deal with frustration a lot. So
that's true.
Let's remove that a lot from our life if you can. Yeah.
Sick, incredible, and that's very well said as well. And I think everybody can relate, especially what you said, like being apprehensive and just not doing something that you kind of know you need to do. But like you said, and I think it's just always something simple where just because you've never done it before, you kind of feel like, okay, I don't know what's going on, I'm just going to avoid it almost. But then, like you said, just take that time, unlock the door, and things will change. With the script writer in general, like how did it change the course of the project or even the way you work? Like how did it help you?
Well, I think as far as you start to get, because when you have an idea, it's just an idea, and when you start to have some sketch become a bit more alive, when you get some text, it gets even more alive. When you have some like 3D stuff, it's, oh my God, I can feel it. It could be real. I think it's it's a one part of the with the sound, it's even more real. It's like, wow, it's just finishing, like everything is finally really believable. I think it's one part of what make this much more real as a film. But I think it's as important as the visual, as the sound. I realized for this new film how important was the sound. Because I was happy with the film, but I was kind of like really tired. When I've sent it to the sound team, I was okay. It's working. I've done the job. Next, I was quite I've lost like my face or motivation for this project. But when like the sound, like the first like the version 1 of the sound, I was, holy shit. I realized how an experience it was because of the sound, and it's because they made like such a crazy job on it. And I realized, holy, okay, it's an experience. But I haven't realized that before they sent me like their work. I haven't realized that. And with the sound, I was, holy shit, like it's really something like I wasn't expected for. But I was seeing like the true potential of it just in front of me like that. I was trying to appreciate it as a film and not as I try to make it work. But it was, but I haven't had this feeling for the first film, but for this one, they made like I could see like the huge progress they've made, and because they had the experience for the first one, and we kind of knew because it was the same team. So my friend Antoine Babary and his team at Arcade, we were starting to speak even more like the same language. And it's funny because I'm sure like for a new episode it would be even better, because when I talked to him, it looked like it was like a lab of sound experience. Yeah. And I could tell like this sound, like I think you absolutely found like the proper sound of such a gigantic structure. I could tell like I love this sound, like I would love to have it even more. But I'm sure like for a new film, like you could tell like, okay, this is absolutely something to experiment even more. But yeah, it's fascinating when it's become alive and online, and people can appreciate this. But I can't believe it's 2 films already.
I mean, yeah. So that's like what, 2 years worth of work, or just less than 2 years?
For the 2 films, because I think the first film it was like through a period of like 2 or 3 years, but I guess it was maybe a year of work put together. But I mean, it's a year of. I'm not sure if I don't know how much it would take. Like the second film, it was 3 months. I think maybe like 5 or 6 months for a film. If I just put my ass on the chair and just do that for non-stop, I think it could be like maybe 6 months, something like that, I guess.
I think it's very powerful, especially for, like obviously you're very well known in the concept art world as well. So like as a concept artist, seeing fellow concept artists create a film to this level, to this scale, and for it to be successful as well, like it's very encouraging. But it's also like pretty much a one-man team. Would you change that, or would you add more people for the next time, or do you like the fact that it's pretty much you doing all of the heavy lifting and then having a few people add their little spice to these things as well?
I think it was. I had a lot of fun, like to work on this new film with like the VFX crew. I think it was, and it was good to not be just alone, like because like there is Ambergen, oh shit, I have a new software to learn, so it was good like to just let some other artists do the job, so I can really focus. I guess I wanted to focus a bit more on the story and like the core. I wanted to be faster for this film. I wanted to see like how long would it take, and so I guess like I could like maybe work with a bit more more people, but then it's all a matter of money after. Because for now it just cost me money, but it didn't like bring me a single cent for now.
Really?
Because
Okay.
I haven't like put I haven't even watched how to monetize a YouTube channel.
Okay,
I'm
okay, okay.
afraid of it's one of the things like when you take like 2 years to just
Yeah,
look for something. That's a true example.
yeah.
I haven't even searched for how to monetize my channel. It's still there. It's like a small virus. You should have a look. But I don't know what I was talking about. But anyway, yeah, I would love to. It was cool to work with the editing artist. The sound team made like an incredible job. I've been working with two writers as well, and it was good to have the different point of view and just get like the good balance between like the two tastes of the writer and the way they write. It's good to have, yeah, I think I love to work with people. It was a good experience. So let's see if I have some money. It would be, maybe I could bring even more people. But I'm happy at the same time to just do like all the 3D or art stuff myself. It's not boring at all. It's always a pleasure to explore something like you haven't seen before. It's just like exploring a different place. A new place on Earth. It's always like a huge pleasure. Same with art for me at the moment, at least. Yeah.
A few questions regarding some of the, I guess, the collaborations you've done, especially like with the nuclear explosion, which I think is every film, every project, every IP always has that iconic image or images sometimes that defines that thing. And I think that nuclear explosion, which obviously before watching it, you thought was an ocean, but seeing it as an oil field is just amazing sci-fi, is obviously like very iconic, and it burns into your, imagination. Like, okay, this is what this world's about. And obviously you also mentioned about the sound as well. How was it collaborating with somebody to sculpt and bring these kind of iconic things that help the film come to life? Like, was it a difficult process, and who really drove it? Was it just yourself saying, hey, I need this, can you make it like this? Or was it more of a very fluid collaborative process?
It was, for example, those nuclear explosion like underwater, it was tough because I was speaking with the first VFX artist, Emmanuel, and he told me there is a way with Houdini, but it was like a really painful process. Like it would take like many hours to learn that.
Right.
And you still have to render it after, but we couldn't benefit my 3 GPU computer because it's based on the CPU to render everything. So it was, I wanted to find a solution where I could render it basically with my computer. So that's why we tried to do it with Immersion, but we didn't have any example of that. So it was basically like, okay, it's one of the first thing I've been starting to work on is those explosions, because if I can't make it work, I have to remove it from the script entirely. So it took like a couple of months to make it work, like actually. And from there, I wanted just to have like one shot with one explosion. But once I have it, I was just starting to duplicate it. And then I was, oh my God, I was just playing with my toys, then, and doing so. I can do a shot from the top, or maybe from, or maybe a very close up, or maybe through a window. And like 3 months later, I was, oh shit, I can use like those shots as a plane in my Blender scene. I can put like a spaceship flying or whatever, and just put a plane with a video, and I don't have to simulate everything anymore again. So it's all the time just getting an idea and just play around with it. Sometimes you have an idea like 3 months later, like for example, those nuclear explosion. I've made like, it's for example, I've just started with one, but then you realize you can do like 10 and then it becoming something quite normal, even if it's not when you start it. Like you start it, you just imagine 1, not 10, you know. But then when you have 10, it's here in your hard drive for like 3 months. And then you start to realize, maybe I can add another layer. Like it could be like within a bay and nobody cares about those explosions, or maybe I can put like a spaceship in front that's still flying, like it's a normal day.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes time to understand what you're doing and to bring another layer. But I guess that's always when it's become really interesting. It's when you reach like different layers of what you've been doing, and just understanding when you did and go beyond the original idea you had. And that's when you feel like that's becoming something really, really interesting. Yeah.
And also about, sorry. Yeah. And also about the sound as well. Like, I have an amazing fascination just with the sound world, all that kind of stuff. And I love the sounds of movies in particular, just as much as the movie itself, or even the sound above the movie. Because obviously you mentioned, like, you know, your face lit up when you mentioned about the sound design and how that back and forth was. Do you think that's going to affect your creative process going forward now? Like, are you going to think about sound a lot more when you're making things? And were you thinking about sound even with these projects first, or was it almost something that was going to be done at the end?
Well, it was a discussion we had with my friend Antoine, because I had this frustration for the first film. I would love to have this earlier, so I can build based on that. Because what I do, like, I will put some song and dream based on that. That because I guess like music is such an important part for creating, at least for me. And I really wanted to make it happen, like really at the beginning. But he told me, Paul, it's going to cost you like twice more because we have to do like a start job, and then we have to do everything again because you will evolve. And so we made like with the editing artist, we are doing some he was still able to play much better than me with sound effect and put some music, like would take some music for other stuff. And it was like, here is the intention, and they just made it like 10 times better, you know, or 100 times better. But we come with like a basic intention. We would love like this sequence to be oppressing, you know, or whatever. But it just like I guess like when you are like a famous director like Ridley Scott, or you can ask like for Hans Zimmer to do the job before. But I don't know if it's happening a lot with in that order.
No, I don't think it is. From like my just like obviously geeking out about films and stuff, I think usually it is like an afterthought. However, though, when you mentioned like, you know, like you were fatigued with the film almost before you sent it off for the music, and then obviously kind of like breathe life into it. I believe that's what happened with the first Star Wars film. Like when it was first played, everybody who was there, like I think Francis Ford Coppola was there, and obviously a few other people, they were like, "What? This film is weird." However, what saved it was John Williams' score, because it wasn't edited at the time; it's edited to his score, and obviously that just added the lore and I guess the soul of that film. And then equally, I think things like Inception, I think quite famously, Hans Zimmer was tasked by Nolan to start the score as the film had just begun. Or like, here's a script, make a score for this. And there's a whole story. I had this like massive warehouse of these synths and all that kind of cool stuff as well. And I think, yeah, it's fascinating. And it seems, I guess from a production standpoint and a financial standpoint, it makes sense why you do it at the end. But from a creative standpoint, like you just said, having it almost at the beginning in that war room when everyone's creating seems like it's like almost like a hidden script, a second script writer, so to speak. You mentioned there about directors. Did any filmmakers or directors, of course, subconsciously, I'm sure there's a lot of influence spinning around, but did you look at any directors, even films, to help you with this that you obviously not copied, but were inspired by?
You mean if I was inspired by some movie?
Correct. Yeah, movies or even directors themselves.
Not really, because what I usually do is I have my like little sketchbook, and I just I will just which is fun because I will come to that later. But I will sketch like very like shitty, like a 30-second sketch. It's look terrible, but in the end, like the sketch is absolutely what become like in the screen. So I wasn't really. I don't feel I was because I have my process when I do like concept art or illustration. It just sketch and then you do it 3D and just find the best way to show this design, for example, or this scene. And it's a bit like being a photographer. When you have like you create a world and then you are the photographer or the guy who does the documentary in that place. And because we've been doing some kind of documentary, I think if we were inspired by something, it's mostly like a true documentary, like a Vietnam War documentary or whatever, like Second World War. There is a Apocalypse documentary series. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
It's very long documentary, and they were like the one made by Peter Jackson in color. It was wow. I mean, I'm fascinated by those things. So I think we are mostly like trying to get that back, this feeling. But I know it's not. But because at some point, which is weird, is when it's a true documentary, everything is horrific when it's like a horrific documentary. But me, it was fake, it's not real. So it get boring much sooner than a true documentary. So we had to find like a good balance between, okay, nobody cares, I don't care, it's too slow, let's cut sooner or whatever. But we have to find a good balance. But mostly documentary, I would say.
Yeah, no, documentary. When I was rewatching it again, and I was like, this definitely, like, obviously the way it's narrated as well and the way it's explained, but yeah, this felt more like a documentary. When I was watching it. Like, I feel like I'm watching a documentary of something that has happened, and obviously it's great to hear because that was your intention. Immediately when I thought of the documentary, I just kept thinking of District 9 because that's at least the first few moments of the film. It was played out like a documentary, like this is an event that happened. People are giving their testimonials as to what happened and things like that. And I thought that was a very, very nice way to approach this world because you focus more on the lore that you're explaining and the events that happened. And I think what a documentary does do well is explain something that happened by almost highlighting the key moments and showing you the stages. And then letting you kind of like fill in the gaps and kind of put yourself and almost, even if you don't find the answers, like ask why, like, so why was it like this? Why did this even happen? Who came up with this idea? And then that almost builds the lore as well. Is this kind of like, would you say your style, or is it only just for this project that it has to be like in this kind of documentary type style?
I don't know. It was fun for two films to do that, but at some point it will become the same thing over. So I have a couple of other ideas which would be done like differently, or maybe another one would be documentary, but completely done differently. I guess it's like doing some image. If you just do like the same spaceship over and over, it become like the same flavor. So. And at some point when you've done it, you need something a bit different, I guess, as an artist. So yeah, I would do things differently, I guess. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have to call my writer to see like where it will go. But I have an idea, like a solid idea for a new episode of Solstice as well. So I've got many choice, which is good. I wanted to have this. Let's have many options and do what's feel best at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool to hear. And I'm glad. I don't want spoilers, so I'm not going to ask you for some. But I'm glad there's going to be more coming. But what is the future for Solstice? Like, do you see this as more exploration of this universe? Do you want to tell a different angle to this universe? What is your relationship with Solstice, if that makes sense?
I think because I've been talking with like an agent. I will not mention his name, but he's like an agent who got some good contact with like some film studio. So we were speaking like as I was starting to do the second episode, and he was telling me like to stop doing it because it would compromise like the like talking with studio and so on. So I was okay. Let's. I can't stop this film. I need to finish it because there were like have some like underwater explosion. It was working. I had like those massive mothership carrier. I can't put that on a trash. So I decided I'm going to finish that, you know. So now it's finished, so I can start to. There is something, you know, like there is two films. It's look like a universe, or there is from there it can be like a sandbox, you know, for doing like more episode as how I do, or a TV series, or a film, or a game, or whatever. So I will see if there is like any opportunity with some studio. It's still early, but I will see if there is anything to do with that. And if not, I think I will still do some like episode as I've done like as the two previous one, you know. So just a good option in front of me, but I want maybe to explore something different, just to do other things that than this universe. I think I need to just to play, you know, with other toys.
One of the amazing things about it is it's sci-fi, and a lot of people love sci-fi. But one of the amazing things about sci-fi is what it suggests and what it implies. And terraforming is one of the coolest subjects in sci-fi as well. I like the way you tackle that. I like the kind of little devices, not only plot devices, but also even, you know, like design devices, like the was it the photo beams, just to carve out sections of land, the nuclear blasts, the printing and everything like that as well. Like, it's super cool, and it all makes sense. It's not just thrown in there. There's a purpose to it, and it all adds up, and it's very exciting. And again, as a creative, like, it just makes your brain go to some amazing places of what's possible. Even the relationship and the suggestion of like how, although this is a spoiler for people who are watching, so please watch it before you continue, but like how this automated system, nature kind of like combats it, but then it kind of like evolves and then kind of come to this symbiotic kind of relationship, and they exist going forward as well. And the way it's described as like humans almost like ejected or discarded from that particular dance and conversation, which I think is very poetic as well. What was it like building a sci-fi world in that regard? And again, was that something that was just pure inspiration and just pure like creative process, and which ones were deliberate?
I guess there is some ideas that come pretty early, and from there, I think when you start to have like a solid idea, you can build based on that and expand, you know. For example, for the first Solstice film, it was okay, those aircraft carrier coming out non-stop, like 100 a day, 10 a day. You don't really know. And from there, you can start to think about, so if it's happening that way in this location, if you apply those rules to different ideas, how does it look like? And then I think it was just about applying the same logic over and over. So, you know, like in all different aspects, like, okay, if they come to the planet, like, how do you apply those rules to just the concept of human coming to a planet? If you take, like, for example, because if you have like a very evil AI, like, you can apply those rules with different ideas, and that's why we have so many like movie with evil AI with a different scenario. But if you take like, okay, AI is not necessarily evil; it's just super efficient. That's what it do. It just do it without any feeling. And if you apply those rules to specific things, ideas just come, you know. But yeah, as soon as you can get like a solid first idea you're super excited about, it would just expand like slowly, like when you have a sketch and it just gives you more idea and more idea, and then it just never stops.
Another thing is just eye candy. Like design has a function, has a purpose, but sometimes it just looks amazingly cool. One of my favorite designs is, I think it's like I'm not sure what the purpose of the ship is, but the black floating ship with the like long pipes and the weird chimneys. That was excellent. That was superb. What is your favorite design or even aspect or even part of the film?
Yeah, I think that this one as well, because this is the worst I've done. And this, because I always have all those sketch in my sketchbook, and this one I still didn't have the time to just do it. But I guess like as far as you go, you become better and better, at designing stuff. And this was the last one, and I was really like, okay, this is the final shot I need to do. And I don't know, it just came like that, and I was super happy about it. But it's supposed to be like that's the weird part, because it's supposed to be like a structure at the bottom of an oil rig. They just detach, and suck the oil. But we don't see it. I had to add it on every frame of the film. I was, no, fuck it.
That's fair
I
enough.
will do that.
That I think is cool. It's like that almost Boba Fett moment. Like it appears for a couple of seconds, a few shots, and then it becomes like, hopefully it becomes like this viral sensation that becomes like this cult kind of hero. The film was done and it was released. What was it like releasing it? Like, did you just put it out there when it was ready, or did you have like a strategy in mind?
It's weird because, as I said, like I was absolutely tired of the film. Like when I sent it to the sound team, and when they came back to me with a very solid version, like I was, holy shit! Like the first version was almost like what we have on YouTube. Like it was like perfect, The first film we had like much more like change, a lot of change, because we had to find like how is it to be in such a world. But this one, it was perfect, So when I got that, I realized, okay, I'm pretty close to have the film done, because I was expecting much more like edit, and so I don't know, like when my friend Antoine told me like maybe at the end of this week we should have the last update. I was okay. I will finish the film this week, and Monday I will release it. And so I think it was like in a 3 or 4 days I just decided to finish it and just to drop it. Like I think like the day I've released it, like 2 weeks ago, I was still rendering some shots. Yeah, because I just wanted to just like turn the page, like done. Let's do something else. So it was. Let's go.
I absolutely,
it was not very really planned. The first movie I made like a cool poster. I've been to just a couple festival, but this one I was okay. Let's finish it. It's been too long.
Sick. Yeah. No, I think that's cool, and it's also fun. Like even with the creative process, try different approaches and just do it, and then you'll get different things. Whether it's a hit or not, it's almost like not even the point. It's just a case of. I feel like sometimes a project kind of answers itself what it needs, and whether you realize it or not, like maybe this one, it just had to be that when it was ready, it had to go. But I also like that. I like what it represents, like the fact that yes, you can build a campaign, which is always important. You can do all these different kind of things, but once you've made something, it's like a plate of food, right? Like you go to a restaurant, you don't want once the food's made for this whole procession and this whole process for them to bring the food to you. You just want to eat the food after it's made. And it's almost like that kind of thing. And I think with the landscape changing, perhaps, of what it is to be an artist and a creative these days, knowing the fact that once the render's finished, you can pretty much click send and let it be. I think that's pretty powerful. And with all that said, obviously, like, you mentioned, and even before we was talking before the episode as well, like this was all done in between life, professional work, and all the other things you have to do as well. Did it get tough at any point, or did it get exciting by doing all of this?
It was because I took like the first 3 months off, it was like, I think I was even more tired, when I started to get back to like work for somebody else. Like I was exhausted because I took like those 3 months like very seriously. And, because I think I've done like more work than the first film. I think there is twice more shot in this new film than the first one,
Mm-hmm.
because it's cut like so fast, you know. So it was very exciting, but I think I've got tired because of waiting like the script a lot. It got because I wanted to go fast, and I couldn't. So I think it kind of stuck me. I was getting bored, and as soon as I guess like for any project, if it's a game or a film or whatever, it's always tough to finish it because you have it's working, you have the job done, but you have to like just make it work. So polish everything. It's less creative. I guess there is still like this. There is no more like excitement of touching something new, or you're discovering something, and or you realize the true potential of what you're doing. As soon as the magic disappeared, it became more like things to finish and a job to do. It's less. There is no more creative choice, except like with the sound team. But otherwise, it's just like execute a task, which is okay. Let's do the job. But I guess like it's always good to keep in mind like okay, how to keep you excited the longest as possible. This is why I want to wait, like to have like a script, to not go too fast into like doing my job as an artist into it, because I want to be like faster at just try to play the longest as possible and enjoy the experience the longest as possible, I guess. Yeah, and not feeling stuck, but maybe you don't have. Maybe I will have this feeling anyway, whatever the project. But it's always hard to finish it. Yeah, I feel. Yeah.
What was the biggest thing you learned during this like whole filmmaking adventure?
This time it was because the first Solstice film was mostly learning to work with like the like just because you have an idea but you don't know if it's going to be cool. It can be absolutely, you can be the only one person of the planet to to enjoy it, but if nobody like it, well, it doesn't speak to anybody. I guess it's for your ego, it's very damaging. But yeah, I think the first movie was learning how to be confident with my idea. And the second one, I was very confident with any idea. So I would just like go 100% into whatever came to my mind. Okay, let's try it without any, fear. It was just let's play with that and let's make it work. I guess the second one was more I wanted to touch things like I was not able to do, like doing those simulation, like a nuke explosion or like just one of my cruiser firing. I haven't done that before, so I wanted to see like I wanted to make it even more real in some specific situation. I think that's what I learned, maybe to go beyond my expertise, because I an artist. The first film was just about, okay, I'm a concept artist. I do 3D stuff. It's looking pretty finished. So let's do that. But no more, just in a large quantity. But the new one, yeah, let's go beyond that. And for a new one, I don't even know. I don't know yet. Maybe just, improving myself as being more efficient, doing that, maybe. Because it's like when you, for example, like when you start illustration or drawing, you will take like weeks or days on a single drawing, and later you just spend like a couple of hours and you get bored or it's finished and next. So yeah, maybe I'm going through this process of spending so much time doing a film as maybe it could be like much more efficient. So let's see, maybe not, but that's my feeling at least.
Amazing. Obviously, like, from your career and your journey so far, You made a video game. You work on amazing projects, games and films. You're making your own films as well. Is there anything more you want to add to your portfolio of things you do? Or are you happy with what you've got?
I don't know. It's I try mostly to surround myself at the moment better, because I have like the Solstice universe, so maybe there is something to do based on that. But I'm not like a businessman. I'm just an artist. So maybe I just try to build a small team around those projects and see where it can go. But no, I think it's mostly like keep experimenting. I think it's good as well to take the time to enjoy what you learn. So I've been learning to do some short films. So I want to experience based on those learning, just to do more stuff. I was thinking maybe I should do like some 2 minutes short films, just so I could try many more things instead of like a big 10 minutes. It's maybe more like exploring like my new capabilities. Well, you understand me.
Yeah. Moving away a bit from your personal work, what about the professional work? I guess that was still going on, right? Like, what have you been working on since we last spoke?
Sorry, can you say it again?
Professional work, like what kind of projects have you been working on since we last spoke?
Well, I think like they were like the creator who got released maybe. It's funny because I've worked with Gareth like 7 years ago. Like my daughter, she was like 1 year old. She was at least starting to walk. And when the movie was released, like she couldn't go to theater with me, but she could like understand what she see. Like she's 8 now. So it was wow.
Wow.
It was weird to realize that. And then I've worked on the Alien Romulus, who also came out. So it was like a shorter work, but it was good to see all the stuff on screen. There were as well Dune Prophecy, the TV series, and Dune Part 2, which I was like heavily involved in the process. So it was amazing to see that on screen as well. But yeah, it was like I had a good, very good years back of a very good project. So it was really good, yeah. For
amazing. Me. When you work on like your professional stuff, how do you like? Do you just kind of go by obviously like, with the offers that come in? Like, does this fit for me, or do you have a particular process with the projects you work on?
It always depends with the person I have in front of me. So it depends on the feeling you have. If someone absolutely know what he or she wants, like I want some sketch, okay, I will do some sketch. And sometimes I will just explain like how I work, like the different way of working. From what I've experienced, here is what usually works better, but I can do differently if you prefer. It always depends, but usually it's pretty easy, they want some good stuff, so they listen like what's the best way to get it from you. Sometimes some people knows what they want and they will just ask you something not like you're very familiar with, but if you agree to take the job, like you have to do it. But most of the time it's very pretty smooth and more like it's I don't know if it's just because the same people keep calling me now, but it's more like before it was just email. Some like production designer or director send you like a couple of lines and you just play with that. But today it's more like when I work with my friend Patrice, who is a production designer for Dune Part 2. And we just, when he get up, he called me and we just stay like on Skype forever. And once my day is finished, is over, okay, goodbye. It was fun. And the same the next day. So it's like working in the same place, but we have like an ocean separating us. But yeah, it's more about sharing and talking. I guess like the COVID made, as we speak now, it's so easier now. We can
Oh,
feel
yes.
it just in front of me, but no,
Yeah.
we are not even in the same country.
Paul, absolutely amazing chatting with you once again. Really excited, obviously, when the film came out, when we knew it was coming out as well. Excited for its future. Excited to see more personal work and also professional work from yourself as well. Before we head off, any final thoughts, words, or things you want to share before we head off?
I don't know. I guess I think I always say that, but I've just write it to a friend earlier today. But just try to have fun. I guess it's always a common thing that sometimes when I get bored, is hey, don't just keep trying having fun, and will go naturally to what speak the best to you. I guess. Yeah. Yes, that's my advice.
Perfect. Paul, thanks so much, man.
See you guys.
Cheers. See ya. A massive thanks to Paul for joining me for that incredible episode. Hit the links attached to watch Solstice Forgotten Archives now and see what else Paul is up to. And then be sure to grab his Learn Squared course, World Building. And you can take the first lesson absolutely free. I've been your host, Aaron Danda. Till next time.